Okay. Happy Sunday. Hey.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for reminding me. I've got a beer in the fridge. I think I put it in the fridge. Did I put it in the freezer? I don't know.
Yeah, in WA, it's not beer o'clock yet.
Oh, I'll turn it up. It's only 2 hours behind.
Exactly. It's 3 o'clock night. It's beer o'clock.
No, I don't drink beer, so that's all right.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, whatever your poison, don't be scared.
Oh, goodness gracious. So how you being, Ash?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, anything exciting?
Just got to look for a new energy supplier now.
Yes. Oh, really? So you're going to abandon Power Shop?
Yeah, well, I mean, from the looks of it, the New Zealand company wants to get rid of it, and their rates have been going up, and
Right.
that's not doing what they used to do.
Hmm.
So, a bit disappointed there.
Yeah. Just for everyone, yesterday Ash asked about, what's my experience been like with Amber, and the first year was great and had very good rates, and our bills were $50 to $120 depending on, like I've got the heater on right now. But now, because of price surging and, we're, like the Queensland plant went offline and other stuff went offline, and there's been repairs and things like that, the surge pricing has been ridiculous, and some of my bills have been $250, and they had this price protection of every bill you've got a component that says price protection guarantee, so you pay a bit of money, and then when this happens they then credit you a dollar amount based upon how much electricity you use. And supposedly, because we're a low user, like 15 kilowatt hours per day, it's bugger all per month, we only got like $30 or $40 off the bill. So we've had about 2, 3, 4 bills now for about $150, $180, $210, even with that discount. And even when we're with other people before, like we've been with Globert, we've been with AGL, we've been with other mobs, we've never paid more than $150 per month. So I'm not happy. So I was going to shift over to Power Shop because, they've got their EV rate overnight, from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. for like 9.9 cents per kilowatt hour. But it seems like potentially they might be, being taken over by a conglomerate.
Well, you're lucky you've got choices over there.
Oh no, you've got one, haven't you?
It's like, you can have a Model T Ford in any colour so long as it's black. Well, we can have...
But we've got COVID, Nigel, you haven't.
Oh, this is true, yeah.
So what happened with Power Shop was Power Shop UK have ceased to exist. They got bought out by another company, and all of the customers got transitioned. And there was, because of obviously the same name, people were like, well, what the hell's happening in Australia? What's going on? Well, Power Shop Australia is owned by a New Zealand company.
Which one?
I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to look it up. Hang on a second.
Yeah, because I was living there for 5 years, so I probably know it.
It is called... Meridian.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Meridian New Zealand owns Power Shop Australia, but they actually did a statement onto the Australian Stock Exchange about how they want to sell Power Shop. Meridian Australia, which is Power Shop.
Why?
So they just said that they're looking to exit.
Oh wow.
So who knows what's going to happen with that. They may or may not, see if they can find a buyer, I guess.
Yeah. So, who are you with, Adam?
I'm with Origin, always have been. I've been looking at Amber, but given when I think I mentioned to you guys last time, when I got the new 13.8 kilowatt array on, they were supposed to drop me back to the current feed-in tariff, and I'm still on the historic feed-in tariff, so I'm loath to sort of play with that.
Yeah.
So I've sort of just stuck with Origin, rightly or wrongly. If you're getting 66 cents feed-in, you're not going to.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I got the PFIT for 6 months before they were like, oh, the paperwork went through for a solar change.
Yeah, I've had a lot of paperwork. I don't know. It may still be in the chute. Who knows? But look, I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. And basically, my power bill's paying my gas bill at the moment. I just ripped off $300 for my winter gas bill off my power bill. So
Wow, that's mad. So I think that high feed-in tariff rate, doesn't it end soon, like 23 or 25?
yeah, I think it was 22 or 3
Yeah.
from memory.
Yeah.
So the big news around that though is that PFIT now you can get a battery without sacrificing your PFIT. So my dad just did that. So he's been on the PFIT and they changed the rules and now you can get a battery and it doesn't remove it. So he got himself a Powerwall and
Yeah, makes sense because in Victoria, the battery actually is considered, I would say, in my logic, downstream of everything. So, it comes from the house, it comes from the grid, and you got your Powerwall. So it's not like, it's interrelated. It's very much a separate entity. So that makes sense.
But I'm thinking, wouldn't the fact that you guys have got Powerwalls be helping your power bill?
Yep, and it does.
So
And that's
it'd be
That's-
freaking worse for you.
yeah,
Chris,
that's exactly right.
if you never had a power
so I tried to convince my dad that it was stupid and did not make sense for him to get a Powerwall.
Yeah,
Because the money that goes to charge up the Powerwall from solar is, you're losing your 60 cents per kilowatt.
yeah, for him,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah,
Well,
you
you-
might as well be
you-
feeding it in.
You may as well be feeding it in and getting 3 times your money back.
Yeah,
But the problem was that during the most recent storm that took out power, they were without power for a week and a half, and
Wow.
running a petrol generator. And Chris knows that my dad's not that far out,
yeah.
so
That's insane.
to run their water pumps and
They're basically
keep the
Warrandyte, which
phone
is just an outer suburb of Melbourne. That's not
Yeah.
country.
Seriously?
So-
After the massive storms, yeah, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
and they were like, oh, we just don't want to deal with that again. That was really bad for the farm.
Yeah.
So,
And I guess the other thing to know about Amber is that you're also market variable with your solar feed-in. So probably today, I reckon it'll be 5 cents feed-in. So I would not recommend Amber. That's my takeaway.
has anyone looked into the new things in Victoria for like shared,
The community ones.
the community ones, stuff what's going on there? I haven't been keeping up.
Yeah. 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 Oh,
No, I haven't.
10 cents. Hang on. Let me just put it in front of me.
Higher,
There you go.
10 cents, yeah.
So that's a reasonable amount, but basically that's the default feed-in amount now, right? Like 9 point whatever cents per kilowatt hour.
Yeah,
It's more than we
It's
get
supposed
over
to be
here in
dropping, isn't
WA.
Yeah.
yeah.
But see, if I look to the future, sorry, if I run back in time, today at 11 o'clock it was at 3 cents, and it was basically 3 cents all day up until 4 o'clock. So yeah, for us it's advantageous to have the Powerwall because our electricity bills would be way higher. So,
Yeah, problematic. They've got us all by the balls. I liked your story the other day, Chris, on was it England that are doing the transformer-looking batteries on the poles?
that's actually Australia.
That's gold.
Yeah,
It's here.
Oh,
Australia.
that was Australia,
Yeah.
was it?
yeah, they're going in down in Mornington.
Exactly.
And
That's
all over the
brilliant.
place. There's a pretty big grant money for batteries, for community batteries at the moment,
Yeah.
and like up to like 2 million for a community to get them. So you can, as long as someone puts up the land, like the council or a resident.
The council
Then-
don't own the poles. This is what's
Yeah.
intriguing me. We back in the day when I was on council, we weren't even allowed to hang bloody Christmas decorations off in the end because the power company said, "Go away. You don't own the poles. You're not hanging Christmas decorations on them." So, yeah, it's totally up to the power company if they want to hang those things on them.
Wow.
The power company have changed their stance a lot recently. Like from my little community I'm at, the power company is even letting us put up cameras, like number plate cameras and stuff on the poles, and like $40 per year power to power your security devices. Like they seem to have changed their stance a lot with being more flexible. So
Yeah, well, they were flexible and they went the other way and said, "Nah, can't touch them." And clearly, it's come back the other way as well.
I'm playing my background. Ignore me.
When I was putting in background earlier, it
Yeah.
reverses it Now with Zoom, you can swap that around, but there's no setting I can see.
I think it just looks reversed to you, but the people on the other side,
we
like
see
Zoom does that, and when you reverse it in Zoom, it actually flips it.
So
that's back to front to me. What does that say to you,
Yeah,
blokes?
no,
Does that look normal?
it says in excess. It's normal.
Yeah, that's back
normal.
to front to me when I'm looking at it.
I can see
That
AI
means-
day.
Yadia.
No, that's AI day.
Oh, so you can see it as AI day.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
see it as Yadia.
I read that as all day when we were waiting for the stream to start, and I'm like, have they just trolled everybody? And you're going to be waiting all day? Like, is that what's going on?
Well, any Tesla event, you've always got to wait 15 minutes for them to get their act together.
This was 50 minutes.
Was it? I'm
Yeah.
glad I didn't actually. I was at work that day, so I had to watch the replay afterwards. So I didn't get that.
Yeah, I watched it live off and
Yeah.
on because I was working. But the thing that intrigued me, and I thought was a bit of a giggle, was when that silly person that was dressed as Optimus
I thought it was a
came
joke.
out. Yeah, which was a big joke. And
Yeah.
basically, Elon said, "Look, piss off." So one of his minions must have said, "This is what we're going to do," and he clearly wasn't a fan of it, and he just basically said, "Oh, yeah, that's enough.
Yeah,
of that.
that's enough.
Go away."
Yeah, you're done.
It was
That's enough.
very tacky.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Was it Grimes?
No,
No one
surely
knows.
not.
Nah, God no.
Surely not.
Nah. The wrong sort of body type, shall we say? Yeah. Nah. But-
Shit dancing, whoever it was.
Yeah. I mean, I was excited by the idea of them making an Android robot and stuff like that. But very quickly, my sentiment changed when he sort of talked to it as to, going to the shops for you. And then also, the idea that they're trying to replace, obviously, people who do this job. So, okay. All right. Elon's got different ideas as to what union trades have.
I mean, I more see it as being remotely operated workers with Neuralink connections or similar.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in terms of the operations of them, I mean, they're going to be expensive. It's going to be a $50,000 piece of machinery
That's nothing.
minimum.
Yeah, that's nothing
Right?
though. Yeah.
Right? So maybe once people have got robo-taxis, what are they going to spend their money on?
I know, right? And
Or maybe it'll be like this will be the autopilot for the Mercedes that doesn't have one that works.
Yeah.
You
No,
know, they put a little butler hat on it and then make it all.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
no
so-
doubt, a lot of industries, like robo-taxis and, Android robots and things like that are going to actually displace a massive workforce. And yeah, universal basic income will need to happen. I've seen robots in my own workplaces and they don't call in sick and they cost a truckload of money. But then again, if you actually have human labor costs, you're talking about anyone who costs full time, as a very basic level entry sort of worker, they're $50,000 anyway.
And you've also got mistakes too.
Yeah.
They'll probably make far less mistakes.
Yeah. And they can work 24/7 and they don't call in sick and they don't say, hey, I need to leave early today because I've got to go pick up my kid or stuff like that, It's going to be a very different future for our kids.
And I think doing things like, even if it was just within like medical and other workspaces, follow the sun is already a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where like X-rays don't get looked at by doctors domestically; they get looked at by doctors internationally at 2:00 in the morning because they know how bad it is for a 2 a.m. doctor.
Yeah.
So that sort of stuff, we'll probably have that with surgeries and stuff as well.
Potentially, yeah. 5G. We've got our 5G chips in us now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've done shift work. I've done menial work. I've done dangerous work with carcinogenic chemicals in food.
Jeez.
So those three tasks clearly are the ones that they will be focusing on for something like this, I would imagine. And I tell you what, for a robot to do that, given the experience I've had, I'd be happy to have that because night shift screws your mind. Obviously, carcinogens aren't good for you, and menial labour hurts your back, and you just mind numbing work is just not good.
Yeah, definitely. So, Nigel, what were your takeaway from the AI Day stuff?
I didn't listen to it in full. I only looked at the YouTube summaries.
Yeah.
I was quite impressed with the D1 chip.
Okay. Yeah.
And the tile, and then putting the tiles into trays, and I'm going, bloody hell, that is going to be the best supercomputer in the world. It'll outstrip them all.
Yeah, definitely.
For this task anyway. I mean, it's designed for network-intensive processing. So just computer distribution. On a per cycle basis, like if you have to do things linear processing, it won't be faster. But distributed computing, things that can be paralleled and distributed, then yeah, obviously you can do pretty amazing things.
Yeah.
But that's two different types of computing.
And school me on the machine learning piece. Is that a machine learning itself as opposed to doing a simulation in a supercomputer and then plugging it in? What's the machine learning piece they were talking about? And obviously Elon's not a fan of machine learning. So can someone skill me on that?
I think Ash is probably the best person in this.
Well, I mean, machine learning has a lot of different parts to it. A lot of people call machine learning something machine learning when it's not. It's like algorithms and kind of like statistical analysis. What they're doing is they're trying to train. Basic machine learning is you give it something and you give it 100,000 of that thing, and then you say, can you now recognize it, right? And the more training you give something, the more likely it is to recognize it when it looks at it the next time. So what they're doing, so with the simulator part of it, they're trying to make it so that they get more case events of things like follow the lines and which lines are real and which ones are old lines and all that sort of stuff. They have heaps of sample data on it, but what they don't have is to make an image that you train a computer with. In the old days, well, for everyone else but currently Tesla, I guess, you used to have to go take an image, draw on it what's important, what's not important.
So hand label it.
Yeah. Hand label everything. And so the labeling is the really core thing. And what they're doing is they've trained a computer at labeling. So they've basically got two sets of machine learning paths that they're working on. They're working on the training part, which is massive. And then what that does is it outputs to the second part, which then learns from those training images to develop basically prediction software paths within it.
Yeah, okay. Because quite often people, when I show them the Tesla, and they think it actually learns itself, and I say, no, the mothership programs it. It doesn't learn on the fly, and then we get updates that tell it to do what it needs to do. It doesn't actually learn, although it does send back, obviously, data to the mothership to inform it on those updates. Am I correct in thinking that?
Yeah, originally they were kind of saying that it would learn like that. Like I'm talking 2012, 2013 when the Model S came out, which was, so that way it would learn your street, for example. But I guess since then they've kind of learnt more about how things learn. And going back, through what they did with the taking the clips and then superimposing them in vector space, so that then they could take multiple angles to make a 3D representation of an area. That's really, I think that's really clever, and it kind of gets back to what they were doing. Is the more time someone drives a street, the better that's going to get over time.
Yeah, that was my take on it too.
And because it's not a video image, it's a vector image, you could have the entire, the same way that a Melways fits on a 100 meg chip, it's a similar thing.
Yeah.
And they're light years ahead of everyone else on that. And the longer it goes, the better it gets. And it's just crazy because that'll be exponential.
Yeah, definitely. My fear here is that after watching that, I was like, oh my God, this is a massive task that they're actually doing just for the US at the moment, North America that is. and then they've got to start training it again for every single market that they go into. So for every country's got different road signs and different road rules and all that sort of stuff. It's like, oh my god, I think FSD just got that much further away. You know,
I think not really. I mean, what they're training it to do is training it how to operate in a 3D space, right?
Okay.
And that's the difference between current FSD and autopilot is the traveling around in vector space. Now, telling it that hey, you're driving on the left here versus you're driving on the right, you know. In terms of staying in a lane, not having an accident, and making turns that are tight and loose.
Yeah.
Other things like, you know, reading signs and traffic lights and stuff is fairly similar around the world.
Yeah.
Because it has to be.
Yeah.
But like as an advancement here, right? I've up until this update that I got a couple of days ago, my car would action a upcoming, you know, 60 ahead sign as a 60 kilometer per hour sign.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't. Right? So now it'll just fly past the 60 ahead sign instead of going, oh, the speed limit's now 60.
Yeah, and put the brakes on.
And it went, and the other one it did was an end 80 sign, which I have in my area, which is the most ridiculous sign. Everyone complains about it. The car, I've been doing a bug report every time it went past it because it would read it as 80. And they've now updated that so that when it sees the end 80 sign, it actually went back up to 100 again when it went through it.
How do you bug report again, Ash?
You press the button and you say bug report, and then you say what you're saying.
Which button?
And they've even fixed the freaking bug report thing. It never understood me. Like, it used to take me 3 or 4 goes to get it to a bug report.
So you're talking about the right button on the wheel?
Yeah, so you press the voice activation button.
Yeah.
And then you say bug report.
Yeah.
How do you know it's gone through?
Because it says on the screen. It says on the screen, bug report, and it gives you a thumbs up. The other way to do it is to press and hold on the car icon. So if there's a bug on the screen, as in like the screen's not responding or something, if you press and hold the settings button, it does 2 things. It logs a bug report, and it also restarts a couple of the services in the background.
Right.
So instead of doing
in the bottom right-hand corner, yeah?
Yeah, so the one right-hand corner for us Australians, like the one that opens up the car settings, if you press and hold that, it restarts a couple of services and it logs a bug report.
What services does it restart? Do you know, Ash?
I don't know exactly. I've had it work and I've had it not work to fix issues. But I do that now. Like, I've had a couple of times when, like, the GPS has been out of whack or it's just been frozen after, like, a Netflix or something similar.
My Field's not coming up at the moment.
Yeah, so doing that has worked a couple of times. A couple of times it hasn't, and I've had to do the 2-thumb reset.
I've had the sound module not start up on the...
I've had it fix that. I've had it fix that, yeah.
And it fixes that, did it? Okay.
It did fix that.
Because I either do the 2 thumbs or I wait until I get out, come back, and it starts the next time.
So the holding the settings button has fixed the sound issue for me before, and I don't think I've had it again since I've done that. So my first point now is I always do the press the debug one, and then I'll do the 2-thumb if it doesn't fix it.
Yeah, I've done the 2 thumbs whilst driving once as well.
That's a bit scary.
So in 2019, the 2 thumbs on autopilot would kill the speaker, right? So you wouldn't be able to hear if you had your indicator on, and you wouldn't hear if you disabled autopilot. But they've actually wired up one of the speakers now in software so that when you do a 2-thumb on autopilot, you can still hear your indicator and you can hear it beep and chime.
Well, yeah, when the sound module doesn't load, you don't get anything. You don't get the chiming, you don't get warnings, you don't get indicator noises, you get nothing.
Yeah, so I've had it so that, but when you're on autopilot and you need to do a 2-thumb reset, you now get audio. as well.
Okay, that's good.
Tomatoes and lemongrass.
So
peppers
just
going
finish
up
off with the
there.
AI day. You know, one of the charts that I didn't understand was that one where they sort of had the incremental sort of ladder sort of thing, and how they basically, I think you said that they start again every week and they build from the previous base, and then it goes up again and it goes up again. Did you understand that one, that bit?
Don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that one.
Yeah.
But if you try and find it, send it through.
Which in what context, Chris?
Yeah, so that was around the training of it. So basically they
Of
said
the
that,
ship or the car or what?
no, this is, I understand, around the labeling. So it was around the second second half of the video, and yeah, they said that the learnings that we give it, we build this foundation, and then in the new week we scrap that and we start again, but then we're building on existing stuff, and then it goes from there. So they had this like step.
What was the footage they were showing at the time? Was that with the Cybertruck or that was the graph piece?
That was just it was still part 2 of the presentation. So the first bit you had the I guess how it works, right? Then
I think
is that when they were summoning it? The summon piece when it had like 40,000 options and then it went down to 20,000 and then
it was
to
getting
like 200
in that area, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was more just a representation that because they do it because of the way that AI training works. You give it a bunch of data and then you train it, and what they're doing is they're just doing exactly what you just said. Is they run it for 2 weeks, but in that 2 weeks they've learnt more, and so they feed that into it as a progression.
And then they make the software changes, and then they see that actually as an effect, and then they makes sense. Okay.
And they've also delivered an extra 50,000 cars in that time.
Yeah.
Or similar.
So speaking about car delivery, the Model Y, it's looking closer.
Yes, agreed.
My missus wants one, so yeah, we've got a place in the queue.
I'm going to wait until 2 things happen. 1, the Model Y comes with 4680. 2, they bring out the super long range Model Y.
Wow.
Super.
Have you not heard in China they put in an application for, I think it was 5 new models, but basically it was a super long range Model Y.
And what's that?
Well, you've got your performance, you've got your long range.
What range? What range is super?
600 Ks.
Oh, that's plenty. But obviously you guys need that over there. But that new network that's going in looks bloody good when it happens.
What network?
Well, all those charges.
Yeah. Hey, we've now got 3 superchargers. One, which is the second one that was installed several weeks ago.
Yeah, saw that.
Shopping centre. It's not working because they stuck it in the underground car park, and it can't communicate back to the mothership, so it can't charge. They've got to put in a Telstra repeater,
a cell repeater.
Yeah.
But there's a new network going in. Didn't you report on that, Chris? Or I saw that somewhere else, did I?
Yeah, no, that's another.
That's a different network.
Yeah, different network.
Yeah, but that's fine. It is what it is.
There's the Arena one as well, but this is the Tesla superchargers.
So
everybody's really pissed off. It's a 6-bay supercharger version 3, and it won't work. Now, apparently, Tesla can put it into I forget what the term is, like a legacy mode or something. So it'll just charge free of charge, like what happened in Germany accidentally some time ago for a few days. They can just let people charge free until they can get the cell repeater down into the underground car park.
Would that include other cars with a CCS?
Yeah, well, probably would, yes.
So who's designing the frigging thing? Surely they knew this at the start.
Yeah.
So I've had that somewhere else before as a pro tip. So I was in Queensland in an underground car park, and the remote scheduling for charging wasn't working for the same reason, no phone reception to the car. So I left a hotspot in the car and if the car's on the Wi-Fi of the hotspot, it will then still let all that stuff work. So I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if the supercharger hardware is hardwired, but if you are, I'd be interested to test if someone in WA can go there, use the hotspot on their phone, if their phone's got reception, and see if they can then charge.
I think that's the trouble with Telstra. Oh, God, Tesla and Telstra. There's no reception. And
but surely that should have been designed into the frickin' charger in the first place.
The car reception is worse than your mobile phone. So, I mean, I played around with this when I was in Queensland and had the issues. Like, I was able to have my phone sitting further away from the car and then using the hotspot through the car.
So, Nigel, to get the lights on at this thing?
Yeah, look, people have been in there over the weekend and they've plugged it in, and all the lights go. Yes, I'm communicating. I'm getting ready to charge.
I reckon go with Ashley's suggestion.
Try a phone.
Yeah,
and it's about 5 minutes drive for me. So 45.
Well, at least you can drive. At least you can drive 45 kilometers. I mean, 45 minutes.
I did 810 k's yesterday, Chris.
Speaking of connection, the new app's a bit sexier, but it's not much different, is it?
I don't like it.
But that's on Apple, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
that's on Android, and we've got.
I think we've got Android. We've got Android. It's all very sad.
There's a few extra functions, and it looks a bit sexier, but it's. No, I expected more.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, the Powerwall solar isn't as clear. I've still got the old school one. Yeah.
Yeah, you're on Android.
Can we change the amperage yet? Oh, no, we can't. Oh, well.
The what?
Changing the amps from the phone.
Oh, okay. No.
That's been like on everybody's wish list for the last 4 years, 5 years.
So that's on the Powerwall, yeah?
No. So when you click start charge on your car, everyone wants to be able to change how many amps it can draw from your phone.
Oh, yeah.
So if you do charge from solar, you can turn it down and then have it back up at night without getting out of bed.
Yeah.
Cool. Super easy. You can do it in the car UI, but you can't do it on the phone.
Yeah. There is, I mean, I was sitting in the car today dicking around, and there's a couple of extra functions while you're in the car. You can turn the stereo up and down from the app. I mean, you're sitting there, who cares? And there's
you've been able to do that for years. I mean,
it's the first time I've noticed. It must have been the first time I did it.
Yeah. There's a great video on YouTube of a person playing sounds through it from their phone of like they pretended the car AI had taken over and was freaking out his mother with it. It's a great video. We'll do that in the next Patreon video sharing session, Chris.
Fantastic. Love it. So Nigel, that was an interesting story you sent me around the deployed wind turbine or turbines. You got to share your screen with that one, or should I try and bring it up here actually?
You can bring it up.
I
only just came across that and thought, that might interest Chris, because you've got all these wind turbines, big things sticking out in the ocean, but this is just a mass of smaller turbines, and it seems to be more efficient. And it looked quite interesting. But there was a huge story with it. It's over in Europe, I think they were looking at doing this, weren't they? Have you got it there, Chris?
I'm getting it. It's coming. I just hid your face temporarily there. Oh, goodness. Sorry. Let's put my phone to do not disturb mode. Right, I'll do it here. Alrighty. Now I need to share my screen. That would be very helpful, wouldn't it? Let's do this. Share a tab. And then this one here. Share. Alright, you can probably see that now.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
it's coming up.
Zoom in a lot. There we go. Alrighty. So look at that. Look at that. That's insane. Makes sense though.
The wind catcher unit. It's quite impressive, I thought.
Yeah.
That could be a plane catcher too.
Yeah,
I don't know how big each one of those is, or how big it is standing up. But I mean, if one of those can power 80,000 homes,
Yeah. Oh my God. Really?
1,000 feet.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
That's insane.
That's 300 meters.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
just a few red lights on top.
Yeah, this is a never going to get built product.
Yeah.
Concept.
Has double the swept area of a conventional 15 megawatt turbine.
Have to have some pretty good anchors if it's 1,000 foot high and it's trying to catch that much wind.
This is an interesting idea. But I recall that, Simon Holmes a Court, who knows energy, saying something to the effect of, any wind turbine blade, everything that you do to it when you increase its size is to the power of something, So when you actually have a larger surface area, it doesn't increase by whatever percent you increase it by. It actually doubles again.
Yeah, exponential, yeah.
Yeah. So
scrolling up, here is my issues with it.
Yeah.
See how you got three supports at the bottom there?
Yeah.
That means it doesn't spin. It doesn't have
to catch the wind.
Other ones have nacelles,
but
so you can aim it.
Like the actual wind turbines within the unit might be able to move. I don't know.
Yeah.
They look like they can rotate around on there.
Yeah.
But the fact that because they're smaller, they can also respond in higher winds.
Yeah.
And so you can be generating power in higher winds.
In 1,000 feet, you're going to get differences in sea level to 1,000 feet as well. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically, I read somewhere early today, there it is, that they supposedly can generate 5 times the annual production compared to other ones. But again, it's size. That's why. It's all relative, isn't it?
And I guess multiple points of failure is the other thing.
Yeah.
That's a plus to it, is that a couple of those little ones break, you're not going to lose 100% of capacity.
Mm-hmm.
The write-up actually did state that it would be cheaper to maintain and easier to maintain.
Oh, yeah. Because, you've got the one place and you can service it as a whole. That makes sense. Whereas, if you have sea deployment, you've got them here, there, and everywhere, and the space kilometres apart sometimes. So, yeah.
Yeah, and if you've got to stop the big one from rotating to service it, you're missing out on 15 megawatts or gigawatts or whatever it is. Whereas with that, you can probably just stop the one and all the others will still keep going.
All right. Yeah.
Interesting working environment with all those things spinning around you while you're working on one of them.
You could probably stop a few around you just for safety's sake.
Send Optimus. Optimus will do it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Alrighty. So, Ash, you got something. It looks like you're trying to find something for us.
I was trying to find that slide that you were talking about.
Gotcha. Yeah. It'll be somewhere in my thing. I googled it and couldn't find it, so I'm just gonna pull up the actual video.
So I was talking about you today, Chris. I took one of my mate's brother and his wife for a spin in the Model 3 Performance today.
Yeah.
I actually had a bolt I needed, and he's a diesel mechanic, and he made one up. Well, he didn't make one up. He modified one for me.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, come for a spin." And she sat in the back and he sat in the front. And, they were blown away. And her first comment was, "I want one."
Good.
But, your name came up because we were talking about the MG and how that's the cheapest at the moment. That's the cheapest EV in the I suppose you call it the fleet in Australia.
Yeah.
And I'd said you'd done a expose on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I might send them the link to have a look, because my mate whose brother I took for a spin is actually a panel beater. I think I've mentioned that before. And so he's right up on it. I was reading one of his. I was pleasantly surprised and impressed, actually. I was up at his place for a beer on Friday night, and he had one of his panel beater, they put those commercial magazines out.
Yeah. And
there was like 5 or 6 articles on EVs around, but technical sort of stuff around how you have to change the frames and stuff for crumple zones and stuff like that. But they were talking about EVs and all of this. And I said, Doug, if this sort of stuff's in these magazines, it's happening, mate, and it's going to keep going.
Yeah. Well, like, that towing video that I came across, that was impressive in that it was a mainstream YouTube channel who covers predominantly trucks, petrol trucks.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and that guy who does tow hitches, he does all for both, petrol and electric. And
you won't be able to do that in Australia because that would be totally illegal.
Yeah, right. Isn't it interesting?
The rating for the Model 3 is only 1,500 pounds or 750 kilos, and that thing was 5,500 pounds.
Exactly.
2,000 something kilos.
My understanding, it weighed the same, if not more, than the actual car. In fact, it does.
Yes, it does. It did. And they were towing it and going, we don't even know it's there. What?
Well, the range did.
Look in the mirror.
Oh, the range. The battery's going, holy shit.
Yeah, the power graph, the demand, that thing was off the charts. It was like, oh, you've got 60 miles of range left now. Oh, you better just slow down a little bit. Yeah. No, that was quite impressed with that story. I agree. If people at work, some people at work rather, who don't own EVs right now, are talking about them. And they're asking me questions, so people are interested. So I'm excited.
We just got to get the price down and get the government on board. Seriously, it's not anything we don't know here.
No.
Look, by early next year, Q1 22, BYD will be bringing them in through Nextport.
Yeah,
they'll be a lot cheaper. They'll be under 40,000.
Exactly. Yeah.
They won't have a huge range. I think their Dolphin is going to be about $30,000, but it's only going to have a 200-kilometre range.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully... you go.
Sorry, Chris, go. No, you go.
Yeah, my only fear there is, when people ask me about my car, there's always two questions. How long does it take to recharge and how far can it go?
And the range, yeah.
And, when I say, 230 kilometres, best case scenario, they're like, "Oh, that won't work," and it's like, "But do you actually do 230 kilometers every day?"
Yeah.
Actually, you can shut up.
Yeah. It really comes down to the average is 38 kilometers a day.
Yep.
Basically,
Yep.
and then some people do drive longer on a regular basis. So I know quite a few Tesla owners that do 100 k's to work and 100 k's home. Now,
easy.
Your MG, you better recharge it at night and it would still be fine. You'd still have to do that. But people just don't understand this concept of it recharges overnight. You get up in the morning, you've got a 90% full battery. Thank you very much.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
So look, town city cars are fine. But if you need to go out into the country, then having some longer range is all right. I mean, I've driven hundreds and hundreds of miles and you just stop once and fill it up. Yeah. Have a coffee and a bladder break and off you go again.
Yeah, no problem. That's right.
Exactly. I did 811 kilometers yesterday. And
where?
So that was 3
We're
superchargers.
locked down, aren't we?
Well, we had a person moving out, so we were allowed to help her move. So we drove her from my place to Horsham and back, which means crossing the city at 5 o'clock in the morning because we can't breach Melbourne curfew. So
halfway to Adelaide too.
Yeah, I thought about doing the dash, but
that'd stop you at the border.
But in reality, that was three superchargers for 800 over 800 k's.
Yeah,
and half an hour per supercharger or less.
Yeah.
Yep.
And each time we, did our biological functions.
Yeah.
Had a piss, got a feed or a drink. I've done it. I've done Adelaide twice now, and it's 3 20-minute stops, 10 hours door to door. I've said that before. It's an hour charging, and the rest you're driving, and it's easy.
Our McDonald's stop in the morning was longer than our charging session.
Yeah, spot on.
In Ballarat.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, many times I've pulled up to what used to be our only supercharger in WA, and I've got there with 20%, and I've plugged it in, gone off, gone to the loo, gone out, standing trying to order a coffee, and the phone's messaging me saying your supercharging session will end in a minute.
And you're going to get charged idle.
I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Not ready.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
Is that a Model Y in the background there, Nigel?
Sorry?
Is that a Model Y in the background you've got on your photo?
No, that's a 3.
Oh, that's a 3, is it? It's hard to tell on that angle. Okay. As I said, my missus is thinking about a Y, and she really likes the Hyundai, the one that's coming out.
Mhm.
Ioniq 5.
Yeah. And she's decided, I'm swinging back towards the Tesla because I've had a look at the interior, and there's too much going on in the interior. She goes, I just like the simplicity of the Tesla. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, it's a superior car, so I would do the Tesla any day.
Yeah, well, you can't tell her that though, Chris.
It's hilarious.
I'll let her make her own decision.
Yeah. This last week, I listened to the the Driven podcast, by Giles Parkinson. If you ever listen to it, it's fascinating because it got the guy from the Clean Energy Finance Corporation on there, and he owns a Tesla long range. And of all the people who you would think not have any range anxiety whatsoever, are people who own EVs and people who have a long range vehicle. But he has long range anxiety. You get that? Isn't that fascinating? He's never done a major trip between his home, which I believe is somewhere around north of Sydney, down south towards Canberra. He wants to go to Melbourne to visit his son who's down here. And I was fascinated. It's like, I don't feel comfortable doing that trip right yet. And Giles is like, I've done it plenty of times. Superchargers, it's not a drama. And
it's all in your head.
East, you have got so many bloody superchargers. You can drive from Adelaide to Cairns and without worrying.
Yeah, I was really surprised. And this is from someone who actually owns an electric vehicle. It's like, yeah, okay.
Get over it.
Yeah.
You got to flip your thinking. I was telling Wayne that today. Yeah. You've just got to think about it differently. And there's range anxiety is a thing of the past, and it's only going to get better, the range in that. So.
Exactly.
And as long as the distance distance remaining is greater than your distance to your destination, you don't care. It's
exactly.
like...
No, agree. And I've got the smallest range of all your vehicles here, and I don't have anxiety with it. Only once have I had anxiety where it bloody went to double dashes. Went from 16 kilometers of range left and I still only had 5 kilometers to home. And suddenly it goes, I'm not very sure.
But that's when those YouTube channels help. When you watch them when they do those run to zero.
Yeah.
And you always know that you've got way more.
Exactly.
And even when it says you're dead, you're still going.
Yeah.
But you don't know unless you don't know.
I might do it one day just locally around here.
Yeah, you have to get picked up.
Go down to the end of the road and drive around the roundabout.
Damn straight.
The other really good question today, just on Model 3 Tesla and long range, short range performance, Wayne asked me, my mate's brother, he said, why don't they do a single motor long range version? And I couldn't answer him. I said, I don't know, it might be something to do with
that's what I was saying about the Model Y in China with these permits to build. There's the performance dual motor, long range dual motor, long range rear wheel drive, and super long range rear wheel drive.
Okay, so they do it.
Yeah, so they are doing it.
Right. Oh yeah, I just didn't know. It was a good question. I thought.
Or they're planning on doing it.
There's a lot of variation out there. Yeah, it's quite substantial. Awesome. All right, now you guys, you're going to help me find a winner for this thing. All right.
How are we going to do that?
All right. So I've got a spreadsheet. We only had about I only had about 15 or so entries, so it's pretty small pickings. But what I've done is I've replicated them many times over, up to 100 plus, people. And so what I'm going to get maybe Nige and Adam to do is, Nige, you give me a digit between 1 and 9, or in fact, excuse me, give me a digit between 0 and 9.
7.
7. All right. Adam, give me the same. 0 and 9.
7.
77. So I'm going to go.
Actually, 7.
77.
I was going to say 7 if he asked me.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
So
guess who the
humans
winner
are not
is?
good random number generators.
Guess who the winner is? It's Evie
Who?
Dave.
Who's that?
Evie
Evie
Dave.
Dave. He's on Twitter. I'm certain of it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Awesome. All right.
Is he
Congratulations.
deserving?
Evie.
Congratulations, Evie Dave. I'll be in contact.
Hey.
There we go.
77.
Yeah, that was easy. So yeah, I went through yesterday and I made sure that people were subscribers. There's a few who weren't, so they didn't get in the mix. So there we go. Fantastic. All right, job done.
Good.
Cool. All righty. So I think we should wrap up.
We'll get him on a call then, Chris. At least one call, obviously.
Hopefully next month, eh? In
Yeah.
September. So see if he can come along and join the fun. If I think I know who it is, he also participated in the Victorian, thing we did with
Community.
Yeah, the community panel. So but I'm not very certain on that, so I could be talking about the wrong person. Apologies if I am. Anyway, alrighty. So yeah, got anything else there, Adam?
No, I'm good, mate.
You
It's
good?
good to catch up.
Yeah,
thank you.
definitely. Yeah, cool. Lockdown, right? Nigel, Freedom State.
What's lockdown?
Yeah,
Sorry.
okay, thank you.
Yeah,
No,
I'll turn it
bye-bye.
up.
Yeah,
Go away.
can I just mute
Time to log
Nigel?
out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I had the power to mute you.
I don't think it's as bad as Sydney, though, is it?
Oh,
mate.
shock.
My brother lives in Sydney, and he was locked. Sorry, son. Get it right. My son lived in Sydney, and he was in the first LGA area to get locked down. He hasn't been to work for 8 weeks because he has to travel.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the government's given him some money, but he is only allowed out for an hour a day for a walk. He can go shopping, but without his wife, or she's got to go without him. It's terrible. And he's walking around, and he goes, 40% of the people aren't wearing a mask.
Mm.
And they're all meeting up in the shopping centres, having a chat and a coffee.
Yeah.
Wankers.
Yeah. And now they've got over 1,200 cases. They're dickheads, the lot of them.
I was disappointed with the number of caravans I saw on the road yesterday. Well over 100.
Serious. Like people
Caravans.
moving around.
Slugs.
Yeah, like with their caravans driving to or from the city.
Well, not for Sydney, but Melbourne.
This is in Melbourne. Yeah.
Mm.
Which they're not supposed to be doing. There's not supposed to
Exactly.
be any of that type of travel.
Yeah, I think for your context, Nigel, in past lockdowns, there was a heavy police presence and army presence patrolling the major arterials and exit points, say like to Ballarat or near Bacchus Marsh. The Ring of Steel. The Ring of Steel, exactly. But this time, I've got to say, I haven't seen it many at all. And as a healthcare person, I can move around and go to different hospitals, which I've done. But I've seen no cops. I've got my work permit thingy, but I've never been asked for it.
I saw 3 cops
here to WA when Mark McGowan goes, as of 6 o'clock tonight, Perth is in lockdown. By 5 to 6, the cops have barricaded it completely and utterly. You won't get in or out.
Jeez.
Yeah, and we've locked down WA again, and the police are at the borders. And we had one woman in her with her caravan try and crash through them a couple of days ago.
Clearly on ice.
The thing with the caravan doing this, and the cops are just following along, going, "You'll crash in a minute." She's in jail.
Yeah.
And of course, we've just had 2 truckies come through.
Yeah, saw that.
But they did the right thing. They have done nothing wrong. They got tested. They wore masks.
Yeah.
So they've done the right thing. Can't blame them. But they came from Sydney, didn't they? And they came through all your places.
Of course. Yeah.
Well, I saw 3 cops, one including a highway patrol car that saw us and then did a U-turn.
Wow.
And came and started following us at a distance.
Yeah.
But then never actually pulled us over.
That's just admiring the car.
And this was 600 k's from home. So we're like, okay, well, we're waiting.
Yeah.
We knew we'd get pulled over.
Did you have a permit to do this, or?
We didn't need to get a permit to do it.
Just, I
because
guess,
it
a
was
good
moving
story.
house. Yeah, just had to explain it.
Yeah.
And but still, I was a bit disappointed that we didn't get stopped at least once
Yeah.
in all that time.
Yeah, I would have thought so too.
Yes.
And with a Tesla being the cop magnet that it is. So
Right. That's
Loose.
interesting.
You see, if you did that over here in WA, I guarantee you'd get pulled over.
Yeah, no, didn't actually tell you he was pulled over.
What, ticket?
He tried to get into WA, but they stopped him.
Yeah, I got turned around at South Australian border.
Yeah,
That's why it was so far.
Okay.
yeah. Didn't want him
I've got
to
over.
get out.
Yeah.
Out.
Can't have EVs over there. in South-
Hold on, we've got a lot. We've got another 400 into
Yeah.
Fremantle.
That's interesting too. You notice there appears to be a stockpile of EVs now, like Teslas rather. Like one of the doctors I work with, he only had a 1 week wait. He put his order in and literally said, "Okay, this is your car." He didn't
because
have
of New South Wales.
Oh.
Everyone was diverting for the 1st of September thing, and those cars were getting reallocated.
Right.
Yeah. I think Victoria are waiting till the 1st of September, and then come the 2nd of September, poor old Tesla in Sydney are going to be inundated with people wanting their car.
Right. Jeez. Anyway, all right. Let's end
All
it
right,
up.
we're done.
So, well, thanks
See you
so
in a
much,
month,
chaps.
guys.
Anyway,
So-
stay safe, be good, and all that sort of stuff. And,
Be good, be green.
Yeah, damn straight. Thanks, Ash.
Be green.
Cool. All righty. All right, take care, guys.
Good.
Thank you.
All right.
See ya. Oh, that was fast.